Hi, buddy, Jeff here, and today I want to talk to you about how to solve the Trump tariffs. What I'm talking about is the threat that President-elect Trump has said that if Canada and Mexico don't get their borders under control, that he's going to slap 25% tariff on everything. Now, first of all, I don't. It just wouldn't work even if you tried because our economies are far too intertwined. Increase the cost of everything, like let alone, auto parts. Auto parts are made in Canada and they're shipped. They're intertwined, so you would be shooting yourself in the foot to try to make a point. But again, he does have a point. We together do need to control what flows over the border. We have drugs and guns and illegal immigrants coming from America into Canada, and there are drugs and illegal immigrants going from Canada into the States. That needs to be taken care of. That's the core issue. We've solved that. We solve this whole thing. It goes away before it comes to fruition. I'm not a fan of a bully being a bully, saying just this whole shouting, do what I want, or going to do horrible, nasty things to you, because that just makes you despise them all the more. And if you can possibly get away from dealing with that bully, you will. So if this policy continues, it'll make people and countries want to do business with or have interactions with America less and less, because you're going to be subject to these random demands simply as an expression of his power. That's the danger that he's going down, and he doesn't seem to see it, but whatever. How do we deal with this situation? How do we solve it? Okay, what we need to do is we need to collectively together, Canada and America, patrol the border. There was a TV show from the 90s called Due South. It was about an RCP officer from the Northwest Territories being reassigned to guard the embassy in Chicago, I believe it was. And so he was bored, didn't want to see his policing skills go to waste, so he just volunteered at the nearest police precinct, and he ended up being assigned with an American officer, and he would patrol the streets of Chicago with this officer, and that's what they would do. And it was this American and Canadian patrolling together. Now, he couldn't actually arrest anyone, but he would still use his detective skills, blah, blah, blah. The concept I have is that we could call it JTF 3 or whatever number we're up to, Joint Special Services Task Force. JTF 1 was the Devil's Brigade from World War II. JTF 2 was in Afghanistan, I believe. So JTF 3, it'll be police officers / border guards. We'll call them border guards for now. Canadian and American, equally making up this force, stationed at border posts at each of the border crossings, and they would patrol from there. One American, one Canadian on both sides of the border. There would be a patrol partners running around. The elegance with this is the fact that you probably have to have we need a treaty anyways, but what would happen is that you'd have as they're patrolling. Now, border guards, they're already limited to how far away from the border they can patrol, so that would be enforced fine on both sides of the border. So many miles, so many kilometers, they can patrol, they can operate. Okay. Other than that, you would have to be the police of the respective country to go deal with the situation. But let's say, so as they're patrolling, they would have, if they're patrolling on American soil, they're patrolling with the authority of, and that is due the American officer. But when they're patrolling on the Canadian side, they're patrolling with the authority due the Canadian officer. So if they're in America, the American officer makes the arrest. And if they're on Canadian soil, the Canadian officer makes the arrest. Because they're together, we could have it that they're allowed to cross the border without going through a border crossing. Because if they're in pursuit of a criminal, let's say there's a group of human smugglers or drug smugglers or something, and they're making a run for the border thinking, we'll be fine because they'll have to stop pursuit because we've crossed the border. No, our guys will just keep going and catch them. Then you'd have to have, we'd need a quicker extradition process to go, bring them back, or decide, who gets them, because maybe the Americans want them. They were captured in America and going from Canada into America. They were captured in America, and So the Americans want them because they have a number of crimes, and so you figure out how to try them for the Canadian crimes in America. Details be worked out. But the point is, we got them. And it's both sides, and as they're patrolling, the Canadian officer will have access to the resources, phoning in and liaising with the Canadian authorities, and an American officer will have access to and liaising with the American authorities. So they'll have both authorities at their disposal. And if American police have, hey, you know what, we hear a tell of somebody coming through, they can let them know, and they can let through the American channels. The American can be told, hey, there's something happening over here. Okay, they can go and patrol it. The point is, you have both sides working together, boots on the ground on both sides of the border to stop illegal flow of people and illicit materials going both ways. Because we don't need the illegal guns coming into Canada. We don't need the drugs. We don't need illegal immigration coming into Canada. And America, they don't need the drugs and the guns and the illegal people going into America either. I fully understand it. This way, both sides are seeing what's going on. Both sides are part of the solution. And that is essentially how you take care of it, because that would have actual patrols on the border, and they can go back and forth as needed in the pursuit of criminals. And because there's one American, one Canadian, it's not, oh, we're just going to let the Americans patrol as they wish in Canada. No. Or us down in the States. No, that's not right. It's one and one, so therefore nobody can say something untoward happened, because they're both working together, and it helps us work together to solve this, rather than just making threats, because that's just going to piss people off and make you not want to do business with anyone down there, because it's just nobody likes a bully. But he's got a point, and that's how you solve it.